Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Yes, I know it's been a while since I've done any podcasting. You see, I've got a new job. Well, it's a new job in the same place I was already working, and it's a bit of a steep learning curve. That and getting new carpets and a host of other new things that are just getting in the way of me chatting to you. So for that, I'm sorry. This time I'm talking about number 257 from the Doctor Who main range. Now it's a 2-story 2-disc set, so it's not a box set, it's just the ordinary monthly release, but it happens to have 2 stories. One's called Interstitial and the other one Feast of Fear, written by Martyn and Carl Rowens. Interstitial's been written by Carl Rowens, and that's the one I'll cover first, so here's the synopsis on that. When the TARDIS is drawn off course by temporal disruption, the Doctor and his companions discover a research facility conducting dangerous experiments. But how do you fight the future when time itself is being used as a weapon? Now, this whole thing kind of fits into the post-Adric leaving celebration that was Doctor Who, bringing back aspects from the past season, if you see what I mean. You've got Nyssa and Tegan from the original, and you've got Mark, the brand new companion, who is in all basic... Well, he's not Jamie. He's Jamie in his sense that he's someone from the past being used as a representative of us, the standard companion thing. But he's from the Roman times, which is, of course, kind of cool. That's beside the point. What is important is that you can split the TARDIS team into 2 groups. You've got the Doctor and one of the companions, and then the other 2. So for this first story, the Doctor splits off with Mark to allow character development, and you've got Nyssa and Tegan going off in the other direction to allow character development. Admittedly, in that other pairing, you've got Tegan being the person who's asking the questions, as always, and you've got Nyssa being the clever one, which is fine by me. Now, this story takes place on a space station, which, even the picture on the front of the box is exactly the same as the one from Ark in Space. And that whole set of stories. It's a standard Earth design, so it went out into the universe, which is fine by me. This space station has actually appeared in a few other Big Finish stories, which is weird because obviously you can't see it, but that's just how things are. So that's one of the echoes to the past. But more importantly, and this is the important bit for me, is that this story references and works with the Time Monster. Yeah, I know. A lot of people what? The Time Monster? Yeah, it's called Interstitial. It's all about the gaps in between the now and the now. Does that make sense? Do you remember all that business, or do you just remember the large foam budgie? Yeah, let's not go there. What is important for this story is that the characterization is brilliant. You've got a very, very small cast. You've got the 2 characters who are scientists on board the station. And yes, it's also got a whole colony and space vibe going on about evolution. And that is great. Now, the beauty of this box set, this release, is that it could quite easily have been a story that was told over 4 episodes. Yes, there would have been more stuff adding to it, but this is a cracking 2-parter. You can get away with the 2-parters so much easier in the 5th Doctor's era because we got them on TV, so mentally we're prepared for this. You've got a cracking short 2-parter there, and then you've got another cracking 2-parter coming up immediately after it. Because they haven't been filled with filler or fluff or running up and down or extra part 3s or anything like that. You've just got, here's the narrative, we go from here to here, here's the story, 1 cliffhanger, doof, you're done. Boom, done. Yeah. Great story, nicely put together with the second one from the box set, which is Feast of Fear by Martyn Waits. Here's the synopsis for that. At the height of the Irish famine, a carnival travels the country, bringing cheer to all they encounter. But it also brings something else along with them, and it already has the Doctor. This couldn't be more different. You've got your pseudo-historical, which means it's a historical happening in a time that really hasn't been gone into in such a great depth with Doctor Who, and indeed UK history on TV. The potato famine's very rarely touched upon, unless you happen to be a set of wandering McGann minstrels. It's just something that nobody in England is particularly proud of, and it just kind of gets skirted over. Even the history syllabus doesn't really go into it that much. Now, I'm pretty sure that it's covered in extensive, coverage in American history, because that's the reason that a lot of people are in America, and they always claim Irish heritage, but that's another argument for another time. Basically, people are starving, and they're all thinking of going to the States to survive and thrive. And of course the land instantly becomes the property of the, wealthy and annoying English landowners. Again, you can see why people aren't particularly proud of this sort of thing. Our ruling classes, I'll do a more political podcast another time that you can skip over if you feel like that. But do me a favour, if you are in the UK, please register to vote. No, do it now. Stop the podcast. Go away. Register to vote now. If you're not already registered, make sure you are registered. Because if it comes to polling day, it's far too late to make sure. Trust me. They're after us. It's not paranoia. Sorry, I've distracted myself, and I promised myself I'd be less political. I promised myself so much. It's just so hard. This is a great story, and could so easily have been a 4-parter. Sarah Sutton's performance here is excellent. And yes, there was a whole thing about people being, taken over and used by alien forces and things like that during this time, but I just don't care. It fits and it feels so real. Mark's a brilliant addition to the team, and that's great. I am very, very happy with this current TARDIS team, and I hope that Mark stays with them so much further than just a trilogy. The character deserves to be given more of a leash, somewhere to run, somewhere to play, somewhere to have fun. If they have recorded the story where he's written out, I'm asking you, begging you, to release that in a few years' time and then cram something else in now, so that the next few releases can have Mark as a character remaining. Now, you've got not just the Irish potato famine, which is a very exciting storyline, but that's the background that this carnival takes place on. You've got great performances from Peter, the babbling, and of course the highlight, the genuine shining example is, Sarah Sutton's character in this. I don't want to say any more than that. The locals are great, and as someone in charge, because in this one Tegan's teamed up with Mark, Tegan gets to be the person with the guiding influence, and it really works. There's a reason she was a stewardess. There's a reason that she was hired, because she could take control of a situation, and that's often forgotten about. Here's the trailer. I'll let you decide for yourself. So until next time, be seeing you.
This is it, Professor. The big moment.
Bearing in mind what we're using as ammunition here, your choice of words seem curiously appropriate. Computer, begin recording.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Doctor Who. Interstitial. Feast of Fear.
Doctor, what is this place?
It's a beacon. This must be around the early 30th century-ish.
This is Professor Callu of the TNC Development Program. We have entered the final stages of checking and rechecking. Today we make history. Today we try and create a chronon bomb.
This place feels wrong.
If the people in that lab were experimenting with time, it could be that we were caught in some kind of, I don't know, shockwave?
Shockwave that killed the people doing the experiments? It's horrible.
You seen the people in the villages round here? They've lost all hope, all happiness. Those with something to offer are brought to the trailer. The others are sucked dry, left as husks.
Do you want to know the future? Or the past? I can tell you all about it. From the first big bang to the last tiny whimper. In fact, I have to. Please, let me talk. It's the one thing that stops it. No, please.
Oh, no! Oh, Zipper!
Big Finish. We love stories.
Did that sound as terrifying to you as it did to me?
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.